but it's a best of 7, guys. We're going to get ready for our 3rd game of the series. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
One of the most celebrated heroes in Protoss history, Phoenix made his last stand valiantly defending Aiur as the Zerg invaded and overwhelmed him. His body was later recovered and implanted in the shell of a Dragoon so he could continue to fight and earn glory in battle. And now, with a new horizon, his pursuit for glory continues in the Nexus.
I have returned.
Phoenix is a ranged assassin who excels at bullying enemies with sustained damage. Phoenix's trait, Shield Capacitor, passively grants him permanent shields on top of his health. Damage taken by Phoenix is applied to the shields first. If Phoenix has not taken damage for a few seconds, his shields begin to regenerate. Plasma Cutter is Phoenix's first basic ability. A laser beam circles around him, starting at your mouse cursor. Enemies hit by the laser are damaged and slowed, and Phoenix can move while the laser is spinning to aim it. Phoenix has 2 auto-attack modes, Repeater Cannon and Phase Bomb. Repeater Cannon increases his attack speed, while Phase Bomb increases his range and adds area damage to his auto-attacks. Swapping between these 2 modes at the right time is key to playing Phoenix effectively. Warp provides Phoenix with a powerful mobility tool. After a short channel, Phoenix teleports to a nearby target location. Enemies can't see where Phoenix's warp will place him, allowing you to fake out the enemy team. Warp can be interrupted during its channel, so be cautious when using it. Purification Salvo is Phoenix's first heroic ability. When activated, Phoenix emits a scanner sweep in a wide arc in front of him, locking onto all enemy heroes the scanner hits. After a brief pause, Phoenix launches a barrage of 5 missiles to each of the locked targets, dealing bonus damage to all targets who are slowed. Planet Cracker offers a more immediate method of dealing massive damage. Phoenix locks himself in place and fires a huge, powerful laser beam with unlimited range in the target direction, damaging all non-structure enemies caught in its path. He cannot move or change directions while the beam is active, but he can cancel it early in an emergency. Phoenix is all about dealing sustained damage from a safe distance. Keep the pressure on your enemies with basic attacks and Plasma Cutter, swap weapon modes to adapt to the situation, and warp out when things get dangerous so your shields have time to recharge. Phoenix excels at kiting melee heroes who are soloing a lane, like Malthael or Sonya, forcing them to either chase or retreat. Both of Phoenix's heroic abilities benefit greatly from crowd control, making him a powerful partner to heroes like Arthas and Chen. When playing against Phoenix, give him a taste of his own medicine by dealing sustained damage so his shields don't have time to regenerate. Heroes like Vala and Tracer are particularly good at staying in range and constantly attacking him. Phoenix has several talents that support his playstyle as a steadfast auto-attacker. At level 1, Mobile Offense boosts the damage of Phoenix's next auto-attack against heroes after moving, rewarding well-executed stutter stepping. Emergency Protocol at level 4 increases Phoenix's movement speed while his shields are down, giving him a chance to escape if Warp is on cooldown. It also pairs well with Divert Power Weapons at level 7, which consumes all of Phoenix's shields in exchange for increased damage. Brave and resilient, Phoenix is a walking Protoss arsenal who can, as the Terrans say, throw down with the best of them.
I live to fight again.
are tied up here in the HGC Crucible for North America in our best of 7 series. King's Gambit started strong, but no tomorrow, showing that they are no one to scoff at. Kala, how do you feel about these games so far?
Very, very close. Honestly, watching both of these teams play against each other, so far we've actually seen, kind of, I wouldn't even say actually a landslide in the first game. It was very even until kind of we saw the swinging point there. But that last game, No Tomorrow really, really stepped it up. And that's kind of been the story for this team and what we're considering with King's Gambit. So No Tomorrow, they're lacking the consistency. We've seen them have issues, but like that looks like the No Tomorrow that I expect them to be. So if they can just harness that power, I really think they can do very well in this series. But same thing for King's Gambit. They were a little bit inconsistent in the early phases of the Open Division, but then really came online during the finals and grand finals. So which version of this team are we going to see?
Well, we're going to find out in Game 3 as we go to the map selection here for the 3rd game of the series. And, we had some interesting map bans earlier, standards of Dragon and Tomb. We're going to towers already, and a lot of the maps that we consider to be like the normal maps that are like the primary go-tos for the series, they're quickly getting depleted.
Yep, so we're going to have some very interesting maps, I'm sure, and yeah, already going to Towers of Doom. It's not something you usually see in a series like this.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the bans being quite fun because I love seeing new and different things, but it could be spicy cheese, as we said, in some of the weirder maps. But okay, going into this draft, we game 1, obviously we saw the respect ban on Jaina. And then King's Gambit did not in any way, shape, or form approach the draft in a Jaina composition. They didn't go over it. So I'd say by ignoring the Jaina respect ban and then just banning normal, it worked out better for No Tomorrow. They got what they wanted. Medivh will be banned here, and then Garrosh banned. They just do not want to play against the Garrosh. I think that's very smart.
That was a very fast Maiev.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's what you expect to see.
That's twice now where Maiev has been let through and she gets instantly chosen as the first pick. King's Gambit, they're willing to lock in that Maiev extremely fast here. No thoughts about it whatsoever. No Tomorrow. They got the world though. Diablo is up. Malfurion and Stukov are up. You can even elect to choose a Hanzo or perhaps a Genji in your 1-2 if you are No Tomorrow. So the world is their oyster.
Definitely would not be surprised to see the Hanzo and maybe the Malfurion or something early off here. Malf super popular for obvious reasons, being the strongest support in the game, pretty much without a doubt. But any other heroes you're considering here? Like the Mata brothers, we've got Malfurion, what else?
Those are them. The ones that I highlighted, I think, are the ones that we'll likely see come in here. And it's basically, 2 of any of those heroes, and it's Genji and Malfurion. So No Tomorrow, they felt confident, but look at this. King's Gambit have everything they want. Garrosh off the map with that ban, Diablo and Jaina picked up. So there are 2 styles that can work with this, right? You've got the Warden's Cage, there is the ring on top of it, or you can elect to go the Water Elemental. We've been seeing a lot of Water Elemental lately, but then the Diablo APOC too, so lots of synergies for King's Gambit at this point.
And the Stukov ban is not a surprise, but also this is a composition that does quite well with Lucio. So the Lucio pick is actually, fine for them here. Oftentimes you'll see Lucio or Rhaegar in the next slot anyways, but I think it's something they're going to be happy to play. Just the speed boost for the Diablo to get the flip, and the Shadow Charge after, the Jaina with all that control, the slow, just combined together can be very oppressive.
ETC being banned out, saying that we're going to put you on something a little bit different. So it could be likely not a Tyrael by himself. Muradin, perhaps. What other warrior?
Small chance for Johanna.
Oh yeah, Johanna. That's the other one. Against the
Iron Skin, just to be able to kind of help deal with some of the Apocalypse engages, have that Iron Skin for a more sound response, be able to wait, throw out the Clutch D shield, stop a lot of those hard engages. Possibility here.
I feel like No Tomorrow has to go with a Blaze, considering these circumstances.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you have to be cautious of the combination from Diablo, from Jaina.
But would they solo Blaze?
Solo lane Blaze, not as a warrior.
But not solo warrior. So like off lane, but not solo warrior.
Exactly, yeah. So another warrior can be one of any of the ones that we mentioned.
Even Tyrael.
Could work.
Johanna, Muradin. The options are there.
Yep. What's it gonna be? No tomorrow. Spend a bit of time. Oh, of course, that's one I never really think about very often, you know, because he only shows up every, you know, once every 10-15 games, but he's still there. I find him to be quite squishy, especially against, you know, this burst damage that Maiev and Jaina can provide, especially with the Diablo. But he's certainly good. The Cocoon just allows you to have that numbers advantage fight basically on a whim whenever you want it. So I can see the merit in this pick.
And the other nice thing is, like, oftentimes when there is the Inubarak picked up, you'll see the enemy team try to grab Li Ming or something to have that, you know, that damage to just burn through the Cocoon, the fast tick rate with Disintegrate. And when you've already locked in Jaina, you're not going to rock Jaina Li Ming, so that's out of the question pretty much. And then they have to find other tools to help deal with that. And there are plenty, right? I mean, even Lucio is okay, right, to help with that. But they need a second front line for Diablo.
What's it going to be? What's it going to be? King's Gambit, they need their offlaner. Dahaka is up. A very powerful map for Dahaka. It's probably going to be the pickup. And then their support, of course, whichever one they choose to go with. And it's the Uther instead. The Uther in Maiev is so good. You know, if Maiev finds that huge engagement, there's going to be nothing that No Tomorrow can do. And in that period of time, she's able to get the resets on that fan of knives, just put out a wealth of damage. But what's the last pickup for No Tomorrow? Another damage dealer, of course. Could be a Li Ming.
Yeah,
seen some of that.
The resets, double resets, compounded or fantastic.
Like a Greymane or something. Just another one of those damage
Even
dealers.
Tychus.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, Tychus would actually be really hot here. But at the same time, No Tomorrow lacking a little bit of the wave clear. Greymane, Tychus could really be the pickups. But they definitely want a way to clear the waves.
Yeah. This is a rare situation where we are at the last pick and Hanzo has not been touched. It does happen. You do have the option to go him here if you really want to.
That's funny.
So that's not a bad option here.
We're talking about wave clear and we're talking about ranged, and I don't even consider the Hanzo because this is the last pick. It's just
it's so uncommon for him to be, you know, left open.
Exactly.
They go Gul'dan.
I wanted to mention Gul'dan because of just what I see from this draft needing so much wave clear, and we've seen him just kind of salted in there every once in a while, that fell mage. But I think he's fantastic here. I think that the wave clear is going to be really, really good. And also the fact that King's Gambit's draft requires being in those close quarters, lots of damage from the Gul'dan, Horrify value.
Yeah, Horrify, especially when you have like situations where you drop the bunker, your team is kind of scrambling to regain control of the fight, pop out, drop the Horrify, and that could, you know, that can just turn the fight right there. So really cool, you know, they really thought about it. What's the options? Probably the reason overall is actually Horrify as to why they chose him over, you know, because Hanzo, super mobile, a little bit safer, very big damage, gives you a hard engage, especially, you know, you throw jet propulsion in the mix with the arrow. That's scary. But I like this cooldown a lot.
Me too. We'll see if it works out for them. Just about ready to get into the game here, and we'll see if the Gul'dan is going to be the pick. Man,
just looking at King's Gambit as a team, though, like in that last game, overall, like just tell me how you really feel about them fighting over that boss, the 8v10. Tell me as we get rolling. Let's get started, and we'll talk about it. Because I think the players are itching to go, and let's go into Game 3 on Towers of Doom.
So that style of play, I loved it from them. I love the ambition, and I want to see more of that from King's Gambit, but you just have to be cautious.
Hyper aggro of King's Gambit, but No Tomorrow loading on in here, all 5 members. You know them. They're playing Inubarak, Gul'dan, Malfurion, Blaze, and Genji. This is a spicy composition.
King's Gambit over here on the right. Diesel on the Diablo, Droplets play Maiev, E-Kevin on Jaina, Zerglin on Dahaka, E-Toby on Uther. Both these drafts looking very good, for sure. But seriously, the big question mark for me is the Gul'dan. Very easy to dive this hero. You know, you have this Maiev who can find you with that Spirit of Vengeance at any point. Diablo with the Shadow Charge range at level 4. So just, it's going to be scary for Gul'dan, but I can see the merit.
One thing we do absolutely have to highlight is that Jaina of E-Kevin, we mentioned it earlier when we saw the Respect ban. The first thing in this matchup was Jaina getting banned out because of how strong it looked and how strong it is from the playoffs. And this is obviously something No Tomorrow is well aware of if they're watching and studying their opponents. But with that Jaina here, I mean, we've got the Water Elemental, just the constant pressure you can throw into the back line. It helps deal with Genji. You've got hard engage, which is something that we know Diesel loves to do. He just likes to raw dive at you. And I mean, Jaina helps set a lot of those flips up, making so you don't have to Shadow Charge first, but being able to flip and Shadow Charge second onto a hero like, you know, a Gul'dan, that's tough to save.
I think that's actually seriously going to be the biggest factor here, is what happens in these team fights when it comes to the engage of King's Gambit, because they have the hard engage comp, you know. Sometimes No Tomorrow can find it, but they only have the single Genji to follow up, whereas King's Gambit, they have Jaina, they have Maiev, and this is what I love to see from this team. They have the global, they're looking at the invade. But here comes
Diesel,
Blaze.
yeah, goes straight in with no fear. We do have the cleave coming in from Maiev, but Diesel will drop first. They want this point. They have Zerglin coming down on that Dahaka, and they're just going to cut their losses and back away from it. Little ambitious, and does not pay off.
This is the very same style of play we saw yesterday on this map. Kevin caught out the damage from Corruption. Is there Casanova looking at securing this kill, and 2 kills during the early game going over to No Tomorrow. King's Gambit have to respect the fact, regardless of the fact that they have the Dahaka, if Blaze is rotating into the Sapper invade, you can't dig for it.
That was a really rare misplay from Kevin, though. He stepped into the burrow charge. He knew it was coming, and he misplayed and got hit by the stun, costing him his life. So, you know, a little bit of a sloppy start here. I think they just need to kind of like cool their heads maybe and reapproach, because they have been aggro all series.
All right. Both of these teams just kind of looking at clearing out their minion waves. Obviously, No Tomorrow, they can kind of dictate the pace of that with their extra wave clear, you know, forcing Jaina to spend those spells on the waves. But a little bit of an experience advantage going over to No Tomorrow. Now we're having the first altar phase here in this game. Top left, top right, and on the bottom. But of course, global advantage going over to King's Gambit. So they have the advantage in this setup. They can take their top right, they can use Dahaka to burrow into bottom and look for an engage in a numbers advantage.
But No Tomorrow seems to understand this very well, and they're leaving Genji to potentially slow this down and throw out some of those shurikens. There's the interrupt, slowing Zerglin down exactly as we thought, and that really helps even the situation. But with Genji showing, Maiev rotates from mid down to give them that hero advantage regardless, and they could brush Stalker if they so choose, but then they'd be abandoning the top lane. So now Dahaka needs to withstand this 2v1. Kevin does get the channel. Zerglin has used his essence. There's the jet propulsion coming through. He should be able to survive long enough for Maiev to show up. Gets the drag, but very low is Zerglin. The E could come through from Genji, and there it is, Casanova picking up the kill.
Playing really patient. Now Diesel is also caught out, and another 2 kills going over to No Tomorrow. And that actually looked like King's Gambit played the response well. Of course, if you're against a global and you're No Tomorrow, that is the absolute best way to deal with it. You put 2 members top instead, you stall out, you give bottom, but then you take top left and top right and cut off your opponents as they move up. But King's Gambit, they were just too slow, and they got caught in those rotations, Zerglin taking a lot of his health.
Yeah, when Maiev ran that far ahead, it looked like there was almost like a bit of miscommunication, because, like, you know, they're losing on 2 fronts. They knew that they had to get there to try to help out the Dahaka, who theoretically, you know, could have just left earlier. And then Diablo ended up getting bullied because they were stuck in a 3v3 where Diablo just wasn't able to hold up. That's what early game Diablo is like. He's only got 33 souls so far due to the way that they've been playing and kind of losing lives.
King's Gambit definitely showing some difficulties in this early game. They now have their level 7, so things going to look a bit different for them now, but No Tomorrow with their Sapper camp. We see the camp's bottom side painted blue, but here comes the Brush Stalker. They're looking to find Jay Schritt.
All right, Jay Schritt goes down very quickly here. They will also get Tomster, the Shadow Charge into the wall. Body blocks are plentiful. Kona Cold connects. Frostbolt does not, but Tomster should go down regardless here. Took them a little bit longer than they might have liked, but this could earn them some good pressure onto this bottom lane.
Lots of momentum generated for King's Gambit, being down 4 shots in comparison to their opponents, but the single altar spawning bottom. Nice job, Equinox, just knowing that there's nothing really to do on the map, pushes out top wave so that King's Gambit lose a little bit of experience, focuses on this Sapper camp to at least take something for his team in this lull period.
Yeah, that's good. It's you know, gives them that split pressure, which is something they need to match that Dahaka and keep him honest with the global, you know, disadvantage. Also just keeping that pressure applied. Oh, Shadow Charge in. Jeshate is the target here, and we mentioned just how hard it is to save Gul'dan, but so far they're looking decent. Shadow Charge once again going through Kevin. Now the target, the armor coming in from Uther after that heal, but not enough to save him. Hammer and the Maiev holding him forward. The Casanova too slippery backing away 4v4, some low health bars on the assassins of these teams. But we do see the safe posture and the tribute still standing.
Nice job by Kassa. Droplets trying to find a little bit more there. The bind onto 2, but Jin looking at the counter engage. Here comes Diesel as well. So lots of fan value, but Zergling a little bit caught trying to spam those Qs as Droplets, but both these teams just looking to disengage. 10's here for No Tomorrow. Have to be very cautious.
It was a solid start, you know, to the fight overall, but I just feel like they weren't able to, you know, just sync up their abilities well enough, right? You have, like, we actually saw Diablo back away and Maiev engage on her own, and those little lapses in communication, like, they cost you too much. Even just not dying there, that's not the problem. It's the fact that Maiev's using her whole combo, and then it puts you in a, like, you know, 12-second window where you can't do anything as Maiev, like, effective. You're done.
It's very true. Zergling is the focus. This is a 5-person collapse top, so good night, sweet Dahaka. He's going to go down here, but King's Gambit, they're going to do something with the amount of numbers represented top, but now No Tomorrow can actually take the boss for completely free if they want, but they decide instead to just rotate down, push out mid. They don't want to lose 2 of these sappers because this could very well be bottom fort, which, as we know on this map, is so crucial.
So much more valuable than the 4 damage of the boss. We do see the water elemental drop immediately, wanting to get control of Warding Cage, and Apocalypse going to get huge value. Divine Shield force out there to keep that Maiev alive. The Twilight Dream not getting what they wanted. Tomster attempting it. Solo, the fan is just trickling, hitting everyone. Droplets will...
Oh my gosh, she's alive!
I don't believe it. And suddenly, a 3-0. They didn't get the boss. They're going to lose bottom.
This is huge for King's Gambit, and that was without Zergling. You know, he ended up rush talking near the end of the fight, but King's Gambit, they fought for the 5 at that point. I said fort because they just took one, so they got everything off of that.
And, you know, we saw that earlier, double kill in favor of King's Gambit in the bottom lane that kind of brought them back even, but also took out that wall. So the fact they are able to kill that keep that fast, now reposture, get map dominance, have Dahaka across the map wherever they want them, consider the sappers on top, they can really just press multiple fronts here. This is huge.
Both these teams just kind of counter-capping. The advantage, of course, going over to King's Gambit because they get 5 shots, whereas No Tomorrow only get 3. But that is the power of King's Gambit's team fighting style composition. I thought the Warden's cage was absolutely fantastic. We saw the Maiev value just being huge
with the
in that fight.
that was
that was massive. And the D-Shield, of course. You know, Itobi just playing clutch here on the Uther.
I mean, everything was lined up, right? The D-Shield, I think I'm not certain. I'd love to watch the replay, but I'm pretty sure the D-Shield was just barely still active when the Twilight came out, and that was the only target that was actually in range of the Twilight. They properly backed away when we saw Twilight Dream cast, and like that's like those little things mean so much.
Yep, because you can't vault, you can't do anything as the Maiev. She requires that rapid use of her Q, of that fan of knives, just trying to get in as much damage as possible. But meanwhile, both these teams getting very, very close to level 13 here. King's Gambit still with the control over bottom, but No Tomorrow trying to respawn top with their sapper camp. This top fort for King's Gambit down to 50% health. So nice job just trying to get what they can elsewhere on the map.
This is one of the things that we don't see too much in the open division is like when there is control of the bottom lane like this. We do have a kill on Blaze, so Tomster could go down here as well. The ice block keeping alive. Diesel is sticking around, looking for that shadow charge, and stops the shadow charge. He knew the risk reward. He knew that Twilight Dream had a finite amount of time, or the ice block, and he punished properly.
He put him into a checkmate position. You know, positions past, sitting in the damage there from No Tomorrow's base, and still gets the shadow charge after the ice block is spent. So excellent job by Diesel. He's a fantastic player, you know. He's a star Hero League player. You see him all the time at the top of the ladder. This guy's making a name for himself.
Absolutely. Very talented, and they are just going to continue maintaining the control. That was kills on multiple fronts, mid or bottom and top lane, where we saw heroes dropping, and it's also just retaining the control of that bell tower. They will get another 5 damage to really even this game up. It'll still be a 1 HP lead when it comes to the side of No Tomorrow, but without the bell tower, I mean, that's negligible. They're looking for another hard engage on Death Birthday, but this one is a little bit too ambitious, it seems. Ambitious as we have Diesel getting rooted. Cleanse has to come through. There is the cocoon onto Uther, but not in time to actually stop that heal from connecting. Warden's cage dropped just to force safe posture here available for their team, and they should be backing away at least towards their bell tower. All those sappers going to take a lot of damage from Gul'dan, quickly cleaned up, no threat provided, great defense from No Tomorrow.
This is the main problem that we were illustrating early about the Gul'dan. He's so easy to dive with the composition that King's Gambit has. And here comes Maiev on the side and the Brushstalker.
Isolation onto Gul'dan. There's the bunker to try to keep them safe from the front line.
Drag.
But, oh, the drag onto a Nubarak. Can they get the combo? The Shadow Charge doesn't quite get him into the wall. Twilight Dream and the Horrify in on Dahaka. Down he goes as we do see the 4v5 continuing. Equinox gets pulled forward by that Maiev, but it's not enough to actually seal the deal. This bell tower, though, the 4 under the red control is a huge asset for them. Gives them that safe retreat in the 4v5.
And this is a big experience boost for No Tomorrow, as we see now picking up this fort, and that kill puts them basically even in experience at this point. So King's Gambit stepping a little bit too far right there. You know, they're trying to defend their fort, but they don't have to force fights down there. You know, they have the Dahaka. They can just constantly pressure in top, but they were just willing to force a team fight when they had the experience advantage. And King's Gambit have to be cautious about making plays like that.
Yeah, I think they were just anxious because they had the 6 sappers and they really wanted to get the damage. But I agree because, like you said, Dahaka was pushing the top lane, and ultimately that's a lane that's currently in favor of the side of No Tomorrow. They do consider the engage, but instead just opts to clean up the cocoon that was on Diesel.
And that's 2 heroics. That's isolation and water elemental spent. So King's Gambit down these heroics. They have to be cautious here. Dropless trying to help out Zergling, but he is found.
And Diablo, gets knocked back. Can't quite get that Shadow Charge onto Genji, the target they wanted to try to focus there. 2 of the tributes have been completed. Uther and Blaze the ones channeling them, so a lot of the heals weren't here for a little while.
Here we go.
Hard engage onto Jay Shirtep, but doesn't quite find the target. Would you see the drag there onto Jin, but Jin's able to hop into the bunker at the last second and drag. Oh, X-Strike coming through. Big damage. You see the Divine Shield keeping the pressure in from Dropless, just doing so much damage in this fight. Tomster's going to drop as well, and suddenly, although the health bars aren't that good, a clean fight is looking to be won here on the side of King's Gambit.
King's Gambit, they recognize the only huge ability for No Tomorrow to counter-engage is the Horrify. And Droplets, he waited with the Vault of Wardens and also with the D-Shield to just stop that. I don't know how many Phantom Knives came out during that engagement, but Droplets just absolutely bodying in damage. And the engage was perfect. There was the huge APOC, King's Gambit showing that they're willing to fight even when down a heroic.
We already have 35,000 damage dealt by Droplets there in Maiev, but even more impressive is Casanova, over 40, just about 41,000 dealt in the hero damage so far, outpacing the mages of this game, that's for sure.
Casanova is one of those players that actually just continually impresses me, both in just his mentality as a player, you know, just talking to him at events and stuff like that. But speaking of which, getting engaged a little bit and get found on his jump, and down goes Genji.
Genji is a hero that you're typically like, nah, he's fine, he's safe. But these raw Diablo Shadow Charges with the follow-up of Maiev or Uther or Dahaka is just so hard to adapt to because you're never safe. You're truly never safe. It doesn't matter what hero you are.
Even if you have X-Strike, it's still very scary. So down goes Genji, 20 seconds left on that death timer, 30 seconds until these altars spawn. This is the bottom side altars at this point. I guess mid and bottom, you should say. But a level or 2-level advantage for King's Gambit as well. They have control over the bottom side of the map. Looks like Dahaka is just kind of defending the sappers at this point, but No Tomorrow are going to have a difficult time trying to contest bottom at least, and then they're going to have to deal with a team fight for mid.
I mean, it was a great start to No Tomorrow in this game, and it's still very even, but slowly but surely we're seeing King's Gambit start to edge forward. I mean, almost a 2-level lead for them here after these clean fights, the big wins, the extra bell tower pickup for them, Dahaka getting global value, which will need to rotate down. Droplets gets the focus, Brushstalker in the back, Drashday and Tomster. Oh, isolation is completely dodged there by the ice block, but the Apocalypse hitting so many targets they drop the bunker. They're able to get in. That's a very legit Drashday, but he finds the heal. X-Strike doing a lot of damage, forcing out the Divine Shield on from the Uther. Tomster, can they get him? Vault of the Wardens is locking everyone in. We see E-Kevin has the help of that to protect him in this situation. Casanova looking for the juke. He dashes forward, but the damage coming in deflect. But that's going to be it for Casanova. No more tools to escape this. They find yet another kill.
4 kills for King's Gambit at this point, picking up both of those altars. Huge momentum swing. They're immediately going to be rotating top, likely onto this boss at this point, because 4 members are down of No Tomorrow. Those are free points, but right now they have their focus on mid. They want to close out the game from a macro perspective instead, just really choke out the members of No Tomorrow.
And that's exactly what's happening. But, I mean, it's so tough. When you don't have a global to match that Dahaka in these kind of situations, like coming back in Towers of Doom, is
It's tough.
it's strictly you need to get a 5-man team fight or a 4-man team fight like
This
advantage.
gets them 20, Jake, and now they have top sappers. They can just go in and ARAM top.
Yeah, this is exactly what's going to happen too. I mean, you have the boss available with a 20 advantage. You have the top bell tower that is threatened. You have the responsibility of defending the double sapper push when this bell tower is under control. They cannot stop the boss. They cannot save their top tower, but they can reclaim bottom, and that's what's going to happen.
Well played by King's Gambit. In that last team fight, Jake, I really thought it was an overcommit onto Droplets. He's obviously the carry in this situation. So we saw so many resources from No Tomorrow very deep onto Droplets, and he found the disengage, and it was fantastic. You know, the D-Shield was good onto Zergling as well at that point. So King's Gambit are playing so tight in this game.
They absolutely are, and this is, you know, almost checkmate, right? One tribute to end it all with a 20 advantage. One bell tower advantage, that's irrelevant. They're going to reclaim mid. I mean, point is, they got to win a fight here and now. If you know tomorrow, and that's a tall order. Look, we have Hellgate picked up here. Warden's Cage is going to be a big tool if they engage too deep. Diesel actually gets the challenge forward, but it's stunned and stopped for Casanova. Low, but the heal's coming through with the damage onto Jin. Itobi just walking towards the enemy, throwing out that big mage damage. Again, Diesel with the combos on Casanova. They cleanse with the D-Shield channel. GG.
King's Gambit, I love how they have these just very definitive win conditions. You know, like they set up the map so perfectly off of those 4 kills. They're like, we're going to push in mid, and then we're going to get our sappers, so they're pushing bottom, and then off of that, we're going to go sit on boss, because if they contest us, they lose 6 points. If they don't contest us, we get 4 for free. So they're putting their opponents into lose-lose situations so constantly, and they're always just up off of it. So well done by King's Gambit. And I actually really think that game was, you know, 80% them, but 20% was kind of No Tomorrow being a little bit over-aggressive onto Droplets.
The aggression onto Droplets was there for sure, and then just the lack of respect for what Diablo can do.
Yes.
We consistently saw Jeshurte in like forward positions trying to just throw out his Echo of Corruptions or get the corruption, get the damage, and keep poking, right? Keep contributing. Genji posturing around being like, I'm fine. But just the raw shadow charges and then the easy just walk towards you. Because the moment that the tanks would go in there and try to save, if they didn't have bunker, Warden's Cage was just too much of an issue for them. And it just controls the space so effectively.
So I love that hero, and that's why we're seeing Maiev consistently banned out during the early stages of the draft. That was it right there. So much damage, so much survivability, and so much control.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a really, really well-executed... it felt like a King's Gambit's way of playing, right? They fight when they want to fight. They force fights consistently. But it was, again, a game where they were behind at the beginning, right? Wasn't it? Weren't they 2 levels down?
Yes, they were. They were down. Yeah, they were down quite a bit, and it was basically them outplaying their opponents in terms of macro. But we've got a team fight that I wanted to go over real quick. There's just like a little point here. So the big part is the fact that. So, okay, if we just play this one out, it's just the engage style here. So Zergling on the backside, you know, nothing really exciting. But watch Diesel, you know, they're about to hit 16 first, but look at this engage. They find J Shred, and this is the problem with Gul'dan in this composition. Gets stunned up here, and just so much damage. Everybody, like the cleanse is perfect. Everyone tries to counter engage, and look at that. The Horrify goes out, but the Warden's Cage is here. Look at Droplets. So many resets. The D-Shield comes in too. The bunker is irrelevant at this point, and now Jin, with no escape tools, is stuck in the middle, and this is the swinging point in this game where King's Gambit were like, yes, we're just about to hit 16, but we don't care. This is the perfect engage. They find it, and they really just kind of start snowballing in this game off of this point.
Itobi played pretty much perfect in that game. Like, the cleanses, like everything, the Divine Shields, they were exactly when they needed to be and had the most value. We see some Uther players, because Uther's not as commonly played, goodbye Pen, that just will throw D-Shield for the like hard engages. Like, we're going to use this to make sure that our Maiev can go in and confirm. That wasn't really the case. Once Maev's in, and they're like, looks good, like my tether is on, like the D-Shield came through, enabling for that huge damage, that huge Maiev pressure. Let's find out what map we're going to next game, because these guys are just, this